You feel it, don't you? That strange, magnetic pull to one specific person. It's a connection that feels so deep. It's like it's written on your soul. This isn't just a crush or some fleeting infatuation. This feels important. But right alongside that feeling of importance comes a storm of confusion. 1 minute, everything feels crystal clear, like you've finally come home. The next, you're caught in a whirlwind of doubt and questions that leaves you emotionally exhausted. It's a constant push and pull, a dance of coming closer and pulling away that is just draining. You've probably prayed about it. You've asked God for a sign, for any kind of confirmation that what you're feeling is real and not just something you're making up. You're searching for an anchor in a sea of maybes. The silence that follows can feel deafening, making you question your own judgment. But what if their confusion, specifically, is the very confirmation you've been looking for? Let's journey into the heart of this complicated and powerful dynamic. We'll explore the spiritual confirmations that many believe God sends. And we'll also look at the powerful psychological reasons why this person is just as confused as you are. Why they struggle to get close, but find it impossible to let you go completely. This isn't just about a relationship. For many, it's about a spiritual awakening happening for both of you. The anatomy of a confusing connection. Let's be real about what this feels like. It's a total paradox. It's the feeling of knowing someone on a soul level before you've even learned their favorite food. It's finishing their sentences in your head or feeling their mood drop even when they're miles away. These moments of intense, almost supernatural connection are what keep you holding on. They feel like little glimpses of a divine truth. But then there's the other side. The agitation, the sudden silence, the message left on read, the canceled plans. The mixed signals send your mind spiraling. They pull you in with an intensity that feels like gravity itself. And then they push you away as if they've touched fire. This push and pull is more than just annoying. It's deeply unsettling to your spirit. It creates a sense of chaos that feels like the exact opposite of God's peace. You start to question everything. Did I just imagine that moment we shared? Am I making this all up? Am I going crazy? The turmoil is real, and it's a sign that something big is happening under the surface. This isn't your average dating game. Many interpret this as a spiritual event playing out in the real world, and the friction you feel is the tension between what the soul knows and what the human mind is afraid of. Their confusion isn't a sign that they don't care. It's a sign of the sheer size of the connection. It has likely shaken them to their core, and they just don't have the tools to understand what's happening. The spiritual blueprint. Why does it feel this way? In many spiritual traditions, there's a concept of divinely guided connections. You might have heard terms like soulmates or twin flames. It's important to approach these as spiritual beliefs, not as scientifically proven facts. Science recognizes powerful attraction and attachment, but doesn't confirm the existence of predestined bonds. The core idea behind these beliefs is that certain souls agree to meet in this life to spark growth, healing, and a deeper connection to God. What you may be experiencing is your spirit recognizing something familiar in another person. It's a recognition that happens on a different frequency, far beyond the physical world. Your spirit senses their divine essence, the unique way God made them. This recognition is often instant, peaceful, and certain. It doesn't need proof, it just knows. The confusion comes in because we are not just spirits, We are human beings with egos, minds, and a whole history of past hurts. This can create a huge internal battle for the person you're connected to. The spirit versus the ego. Their spirit, like yours, feels the pull. It recognizes the safety, the purpose, and the divine alignment in your connection. It feels like coming home. Their ego, on the other hand, is terrified. The ego's job is to protect them from what it thinks are threats, and a connection this deep and uncontrollable is the ultimate threat to its control. The ego loves logic and predictability. This connection makes no sense, it can't be controlled, and it's not predictable. So, the ego sounds the alarm, flooding their mind with fear, doubt, and worst-case scenarios. It brings up every past heartbreak and tells them this is too good to be true. Their confusion is the sound of this war raging inside them. They are caught between the quiet certainty of their spirit and the loud panic of their ego. The psychological underpinnings. Where mind meets spirit. To really get a handle on their confusion, we have to look at it through a psychological lens too. Faith and psychology aren't enemies. They're often two different languages trying to explain the same human experience. When we combine their insights, the picture gets a lot clearer. First, let's talk about attachment patterns. Psychology has shown that our earliest experiences with caregivers shape our attachment style in adulthood. If someone grew up feeling consistently loved and safe, a secure attachment, they tend to navigate relationships more easily. But if their childhood was inconsistent or emotionally distant, they might develop an insecure attachment style, like anxious or avoidant. Anxious attachment makes you crave closeness, but fear being abandoned. Avoidant attachment makes you see intimacy as a threat to your freedom, so you pull away when things get serious. Does that push and pull sound familiar? Often, the intense connection you feel triggers their deepest attachment wounds. They want the connection, the pull, but their old fear of being smothered or abandoned makes them retreat, the push. Their confusion is their past programming clashing with a present connection that's unlike anything they've ever known. Second, we have to responsibly consider trauma bonding. This is a critical point for discernment. Not all intense connections are divinely guided. Sometimes, what feels like an unbreakable bond is actually a trauma bond, where two people are linked not by healthy love, but by a shared cycle of dysfunction rooted in past trauma. This often looks like a roller coaster of highs and lows that gets mistaken for passion. You have to ask yourself, over time, does this connection lead to more peace and growth? Or does it consistently lead to more chaos, anxiety, and feeling drained? A divine connection should ultimately lead you toward peace, even if the path is hard. A trauma bond will keep you stuck in a cycle of pain. It's also possible that what feels like a soul connection is a psychological phenomenon called projection, where we project our own needs and ideals onto someone else. Third, we need to understand spiritual loneliness. There's a type of loneliness that has nothing to do with how many friends you have. It's a deep ache inside from feeling disconnected from your true self and from God. When someone is in that deep, empty place, they might unconsciously latch onto another person who gives them a temporary sense of connection. You become a stand-in for the divine connection they're actually craving. In this case, their inability to disconnect might not be about you, but about their terror of going back to that lonely place if they let you go. 5 divine confirmations. God may be sending you. So, with all this psychological complexity, How can you find any spiritual clarity? How do you know if God's hand is really in this? People of faith often look for signs or confirmations. It's helpful to see these not as scientific proof, but as faith-based interpretations of events that bring peace and affirm your path. Here are 5 confirmations many people recognize. Sign number 1, a peace that surpasses understanding. This comes straight from the Bible in Philippians 4:7. This doesn't mean your problems disappear. The world around you might still be chaotic. But underneath it all, when you pray about this person, you feel a deep, steady peace in your spirit. It's a quiet hum that says, "This is right, this is safe." It's a peace that your logical mind can't make sense of, when their behavior makes your mind race. This peace is the anchor God gives your soul. Sign number 2, synchronicity and God winks. Synchronicity is a term from psychologist Carl Jung, but people of faith have known it for centuries as God winks. These are meaningful coincidences that feel too personal to be random. It's hearing their name in a sermon right after you prayed. It's a song playing on the radio with lyrics that perfectly describe your situation. It's running into them in the most random place. These aren't huge, earth-shaking miracles. They are small, intimate whispers from God that are meant to make you smile and say, "Okay, God, I see you." They are spiritual markers that feel like confirmation that your paths are being guided. Sign number 3, divine timing. A connection that believers feel is orchestrated by God rarely feels forced. It unfolds with a sense of divine timing. This doesn't mean it's slow, but it means that things happen in an order that makes perfect sense when you look back. Maybe you met when you were both finally ready for this kind of growth. Maybe the times you were apart were necessary for one of you to heal something. You can't rush it. You have to surrender to the flow, trusting that God is choreographing the dance in His perfect time. Sign number 4, mutual spiritual growth. This is maybe the most important sign. A divinely inspired connection will almost always pull both of you closer to God. It won't distract you from your purpose. It will make it clearer. It won't lead you into temptation. It will inspire you to be better. You find yourself praying more and seeking God more, and you see them doing the same. The connection acts as a catalyst for spiritual growth. If a connection is pulling you away from your faith or making you compromise your values, that's a major red flag that it is not from God. Sign number 5, confirmation through wise counsel. God often speaks through the wisdom of trusted people in our lives. When you talk about it with spiritually mature friends, mentors, or pastors, people who know you well and walk with God, they confirm what you feel. They don't see an obsession. They see potential. They can look at the situation from the outside and reflect back to you the positive spiritual fruit they see growing from it. While this isn't objective proof, for people of faith, this kind of external confirmation can be a powerful antidote to the internal voice of doubt. If this is hitting home for you, if you've seen these signs or you're living in this beautiful and maddening confusion, let me know in the comments. You are not alone in this. Your story matters, and sharing it helps us all navigate these deep spiritual paths together. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe so you don't miss our future talks on faith, relationships, and hearing God's voice in your life, why they are so confused. Now let's get back to them. We've talked about the battle between their spirit and their ego. But why is their confusion so deep? Why can't they just figure it out? Reason number 1, your connection is a mirror. and they're facing their wounds. A divine connection can act like a powerful spiritual mirror. When they look at you, they don't just see you. They see all the parts of themselves that don't line up with the love and truth you represent. The connection shines a spotlight on their unhealed trauma, their deepest insecurities, and their fears of not being good enough. That is incredibly painful work. Their impulse to pull away is often not about rejecting you, but about rejecting the hard self-reflection this connection forces on them. They are confused because they are subconsciously asking, "Am I ready to face all of this? Am I strong enough to heal?" Retreating into what's familiar, even if it's painful, feels safer than healing. Reason number 2, they have a fear of the divine. For some, a connection that feels so clearly guided by God is the scariest thing in the world. To accept this connection means accepting that there is a God who is active in their life. It means surrendering their own plans, their timeline, and their illusion of being in control. That's a huge leap of faith. If they've spent their life trying to be the captain of their own ship, your connection feels like a tidal wave about to crash over them. Their confusion is a form of resistance to that divine surrender. They aren't just wrestling with their feelings for you. They're wrestling with their entire relationship with God. Reason number 3, they could be in a dark night of the soul. There are seasons in our spiritual lives, sometimes called a dark night of the soul, where a person can feel completely abandoned by God. Prayers feel like they hit the ceiling, and there's just a sense of spiritual emptiness. If this person is in a season like that, it is almost impossible for them to trust any spiritual feeling, including the pull they feel toward you. How can they believe God is bringing you together when they feel like God has vanished from their life? Their confusion is magnified by their spiritual state. They can't discern God's voice in the connection because they can't hear God's voice anywhere. What is God calling you to do now? Understanding all this is one thing. Living it is another. So, what's your role in all this? What is God asking of you while you wait for their confusion to clear? Your job isn't to fix them, but to focus on your own heart. Step 1. Embrace loving detachment. This sounds cold, but it's actually one of the most loving things you can do. Detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring enough to let go of the outcome. It's loving them and praying for them while releasing the need to control when or how this all works out. It's trading your anxiety for trust. Every time you feel the urge to check up on them or analyze what they said, turn that energy into a prayer. Say, "God, I surrender this person and this situation to you. I trust your timing and your will." This act of release will bring so much peace back into your own heart. Step 2. Focus on your own healing. Use this waiting period as a sacred opportunity for your own growth. Look at the mirror this connection has held up for you. What are your attachment patterns? Where do you feel spiritually lonely? What old wounds are being poked? Get serious about your own healing journey. Become so whole and so filled with God's love that you no longer need this person's validation to feel worthy. Your healing is not just for you. It creates a safe and stable energy that can inspire them to do their own work. You become a lighthouse, a steady beacon of peace in their storm. Step 3. Pray for clarity, not just for the connection. It's so natural to pray, "God, please bring us together." But try shifting your prayer. Instead, pray, "God, grant us both clarity. Reveal your perfect will for each of us, whether that is together or apart." Give them the peace to understand what they are feeling, and give me the strength to accept your will, whatever it is. This prayer aligns your heart with God's purpose, which is always bigger and wiser than our own desires. Step 4. Be honest. Is this healthy? You have to be brutally honest with yourself. While some confusion is normal in these deep connections, what is the overall fruit? Does your interaction, more often than not, produce the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, and self-control? Or does it consistently create anxiety, chaos, impatience, and frustration? It is critical to distinguish a challenging divine journey from a chronically unhealthy or toxic relationship. Seeking guidance from a trusted source, like a Christian counselor or a wise pastor, isn't a sign of weak faith. It's a sign of profound wisdom. They can help you see what you might be missing. So that deep, unexplainable, and confusing connection you're feeling is not just in your head. For many, it feels like a profound spiritual event. It's confusing because it can feel like a battleground, a clash between the deep knowing of the Spirit and the deep-seated fear of the ego, amplified by the psychological wounds you both carry. Their confusion, their inability to fully disconnect from you, can be interpreted as one of the strongest signs you might receive. It's a sign that this connection is so powerful, it has overwhelmed all their usual defenses, forcing them to either surrender or retreat. But please hear this. You are not crazy for feeling what you feel. This journey, as hard as it is meant for your growth. It's meant to deepen your trust in God, to heal parts of your own heart you didn't know were wounded, and to teach you what it really means to love and let go. Your job isn't to chase, fix, or control. Your job is to become a beacon of peace, to focus on your own sacred path, and to trust completely in God's perfect timing. Let go and let God handle the details. Allow me to close with a prayer for you. Father God, I lift up the person watching this right now. You see their heart, you know the connection they are trying to navigate, and you understand their confusion. I pray that you would wrap them in your perfect peace, a peace that goes beyond all human understanding. Guard their heart and their mind. Quiet the voice of anxiety and doubt, and turn up the volume on your still, small voice. Grant them the strength to practice loving detachment and the courage to focus on their own healing. For the person they are connected to, I pray for a breakthrough. I pray that you would calm the storm of their confusion and replace their fear with your faith. Reveal your divine will for both of them in your perfect time. We trust you. We surrender this all to you. In Jesus' name, amen. If this message has touched your heart, please share it with someone else who might be walking this same confusing path. They need to hear that they are not alone. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications for more guidance and encouragement on your spiritual journey. May God's peace be with you always.